chairman's update. We had a busy week last week. Last week was filing week for elected positions in Washington State for this year's midterm cycle. Of course, our primary is the first week of August, and then the general election will be the first week of November. Washington, in addition to being an all mail-in voting state, is also an open jungle primary state. That means the top two vote getters in the August primary advance to the general election in November, regardless of their party. So it's open top two primary. The top two vote getters in a crowded primary go to November, and they can be from the same party, they can be from different parties, they can be from no party. It's a sort of open season in the primary. The news for the WAGOP in this filing week was really of two sorts. We have more candidates running for the state legislature than we have had in many years, many election cycles. Of course, the state legislature, the House members and the state Senate members run every 4 years. This is for Olympia. So every 2-year cycle, all 98 House members in Olympia are up for election or re-election, and half of the state senators are. That's what we have this year in this 2026 cycle. And WAGOP sees Republican candidates running, not quite in all of those legislative races, but more than we have in several decades. We have solid Republican candidates running in almost all of the swing districts, that is, those that are within a couple of points of each other in modeled voter turnout estimates. And of course, we have strong Republicans in all of the staunch red districts or conservative-leaning districts. We even have Republican candidates running in some staunch Democrat districts. While we don't have quite every race covered, we have almost all of them. There are very few races that don't have a solid Republican candidate in them for the state legislature. We are running, for example, in more races than Democrats, challenging our incumbent Republican legislative races. And so this is a new thing. I think that the excesses and the mistakes of the current governor, Mr. Ferguson, and the Senate leader, Senator Peterson, and the Olympia Speaker of the House, Representative Jenkins, I think their overreach is motivating strong Republicans to run even in some tough districts for Republicans. So you're going to see more Republican candidates running for the state legislature than you have. There are still some focus districts currently held by Democrats. Again, this is for the state legislature, that we believe we can challenge in. Those are familiar. The swingiest of the swing districts haven't changed very much. But we'll be looking for races where Republicans can win what are currently Democrat seats in Olympia. In the 42nd district, that's Whatcom County up by the Canadian border. In the 10th district, that's largely Whidbey Island, but some bits of Skagit County and Snohomish County. In the 26th district, that bridges Pierce and Kitsap County. The biggest towns in that one are Port Orchard and Gig Harbor. And we believe we're going to interesting races in the 30th district. That's Federal Way, kind of suburban South King County. And the 5th district, that's Enumclaw and Issaquah, the eastern suburbs of King County. There are others too. We like to see competitive races in the 24th legislative district, and in the 29th legislative district, and in the 47th legislative district. So there are a number of these districts where we have had opportunity in recent past, not been able to get the Republicans in, where we think Republicans, because of the overreach, are going to do better than they have in recent cycles. The overreach being the state income tax and the absolute bind that Speaker Jenkins and Senator Peterson and the governor are in, now contradicting themselves and putting out frantic press releases and doing media interviews where they basically contradict each other. The state income tax is a disaster. It will be a disaster for the state, and it will be a hardship on all Washington families. And they're acknowledging it now. It's going to be a big boon to Republican candidates who can help get rid of that state income tax and defend. Also, Washington Democrats stumbling and bumbling and overreaching with their raid on the left one public pension. Raiding public pensions is something that bankrupt states like Illinois, New York, and California do. It is not something that Washington has traditionally done. And Ferguson and Jenkins and Peterson raiding one of our state employee pension funds is a bad, bad precedent. And of course, the humiliation they've had over their anti-sheriff bill, which the state courts have put an injunction on and have frozen and said, this is almost certainly bad law. It's almost certainly unconstitutional. We're going to hold it to the side. It is not law currently, and the courts are very likely to overturn it. That humiliation makes them look weak and vulnerable. So we have more good Republicans running for the state legislature than we've had. We also have a number of competitive U.S. Congress races, the most competitive being Washington's 3rd, that's Southwest Washington. Just recently, a poll was released showing the challenger, the Republican challenger to that seat, State Senator John Braun, with a healthy 7-point advantage over the incumbent Democrat Congress member. Now, these are early days, and they're going to go to November for that race, but it certainly is a good early indicator for the Republican challenger, Senator Braun, that he's well ahead of the incumbent, at least at this point in time, according to this one poll. Good sign there. We expect to see spirited races in the 8th Congressional District and the 6th Congressional District. A little bit tougher situations there. Those incumbent Democrats may be a little harder to bump out, but we have good races shaping up in those congressional districts too. And we have got live Republicans running hard in other congressional districts, not just those. So there are more Republicans running for the legislature and for the Congress than we've had in decades. This is a good thing. It's going to take continued effort, of course, to get out the vote and get people to vote and get people to trust the voting processes here. And I hope that the work we're doing with the light that we're shining on ballots and the lack of security around the mailing and delivery of ballots to voters is going to be the problem statement that we can fix with better law and better initiatives and better public policy. And of course, our initiative, IP 26-500, the voter ID initiative, is out gathering signatures now. We're off to a good start there, but we're not close to the number we need to qualify it. And we still have about 2 months, a little bit less than 2 months to collect those signatures. So please keep gathering signatures on those petitions for the voter ID initiative. We've got time to get it qualified, but we're not there yet. We need to collect signatures through the early part of the summer to qualify that one. And on the subject of initiatives, I've gotten a number of questions about the initiative proposal to repeal the new state income tax. That project is still in the works. The final form of that initiative has not been determined yet. We don't have petitions yet for the initiative to overturn the state income tax. But we're working with our partner organization, Let's Go Washington, and we're adding a link on the WAGOP initiatives page. That is initiatives/WAGOP. You can also do WAGOP/initiatives. You can go to the WAGOP initiatives page, and there'll be a link there to get signed up for the initiative petitions to repeal the state income tax when they are ready. They're not out yet. But be patient. All of these projects together in the crunch point of the late spring and early summer of this year. As I've told you before, 2026 is going to be a busy, busy year for politics in Washington State. We have the chance to improve our elections with the voter ID initiative. We have the chance to repeal this awful state income tax proposal with an initiative, and we have more Republicans running for the legislature and for Congress than we ever have, or at least in recent history. It's good news. There's a lot happening, but this is just the beginning of the process. We need you to help us push the rock up the hill, as they say, to move the ball to the end zone. We need you to be activated and get your family and friends and neighbors and coworkers activated, because this is going to be an opportunity year for common sense in Washington State. That's it for this week. Until next time, be well and stay strong.